What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. So today we're talking about Finland. Beautiful country as per videos I've seen. I'm sure you've seen that in the past. They say Finland is a very organized country, very progressive, very simple. I mean, when you accept into that society, you sort of progress very quickly. So what's shocking about Finland, a lot of things are shocking about Finland, I'm discovering, unfortunately. A minister made a comment that's very cocky. He said, Africans make too many kids. And that's one of the reasons for the global warming. Africans make too many children, and that's influencing global warming. And the solution to that is to give Africans pills for abortion. You need to abort your babies because there are too many of them, and they're not necessarily lacked. They are creating carbon footprint for global warming. Yeah, shocking. Minister of Finland. So, Finland Minister of Economic Affairs resigned on Friday, a little more than a week after taking office, after a flurry of scandal linking him to neo-Nazi ideologies. Neo-Nazi, these things are not, I know a lot of people think neo-Nazis are just things we see in the movies. These people are real. They don't like you. They don't want you. They think they are superior to you. They think they are eugenic people. They are real. I've seen that myself in Germany. I remember Leipzig. I was walking on the street and I was shocked. The look I got, it's scary. So his name is Willem Junila, a far-right Finns party. He quit after he made a comment in a parliament where he said the solution for the climate crisis is to give more abortion pills to African women. He called the concept climate abortion. Climate abortion. Give pills to African women. Yeah, they're making too much babies. We don't need them. They are creating a world that's not necessary. Shocking, fellas. Unbelievable. And these are the people that run government. For you to be in government, you need to be voted by many people. For you to be voted by many people, you need to have like minds like many people. Yes. So the guy decided to resign because he's ashamed. In official parliamentary record, he says, in the underdeveloped societies of Africa, the number of children can be huge. And the problem escalates even worse as climate change drives them due to famine, disease, and extreme weather to seek better life in areas with an even larger carbon footprint. So that means because of disease and climate change and famine, and that's the reason why you're coming to Europe and you're creating even more carbon footprint. So the reason why you're coming to Europe in our country is because in your areas where you're making too many babies, it's too hot, so you're running away because of famine and nothingness. You're coming to Europe trying to look for a better life. And the better solution for you is to give you abortion pills so you can reduce the number. So Junila resigned on Friday, saying in a statement, for the continuation of the government and the reputation of Finland. For the continuation of the government and the reputation of Finland. So he's trying to save the reputation of Finland. I see that it is impossible for me to continue as a minister in a satisfactory way. So the guy resigned. He saw himself out because he felt like this was shameful for his government. And for the reputation of Finland, that's very progressive. Let me just, resign. Fellas, we need to take into account these things. Prime Minister, I don't know if you remember, a couple of days ago, they said they would not provide any help to African nations. You remember that? We made a video about that saying Finland said they will not give countries that are supporting Russia any more aid. And they were talking about African nations. We will not provide aid to African nations anymore because they're supporting Russia. In fact, what we're going to do, we will redirect these funds to Ukraine. And again, I said to you, there was a video we published here where an American intelligence officer said Poland was one of the most racist countries in the world, followed by Ukraine. So according to him, Ukraine was a racist country. So they don't like black people. We also saw videos showing Ukrainians how they treated black people during the war, when the war started. So these are the same people that say we will not send money to Africa anymore. We will send money to Ukraine because Africans are supporting Russia. That wasn't the reason. The reason is like, we don't like you anyway. Okay, so we got a good reason now not to send you the money that we spend on you every year. Now it's coming. Things are piling up. Stories are coming out. Now the minister says, you need to give Africans abortion pills because they're making too many babies. These babies are unnecessary. And these babies are creating carbon footprint that's creating global warming. Let me just put this into perspective, fellas. Today, they're talking a lot about global warming. Global warming, they stop producing that, stop doing this because it's creating global warming. Let me tell you this. Out of the whole global warming damage, Africa is only contributed to 2%. So since the industrialization began and there was damage on whatever you call that thing, Africa has only contributed 2% of the global warming. They're big companies. It's their big industrial company that are making all the damage to the atmosphere and the global situation. It has nothing to do with Africans. So a few countries have created all the damage and now they want to blame Africa for the 2%. They even come forward and asking Africans not to produce the oil, the petrol, the gas and all that that stuff because of global warming. In the meantime, they've used everything they had to be economically sound, to progress, to build their countries, to create their economies. Now when Africa's tried to do the same, they say don't do it because it creates global warming. That's the same thing they said to President Mugabe. Because Mugabe discovered oil in his country and wanted to export oil in the international scene. They fought him abruptly. They're trying to find a reason for him to stop his project. They say it's going to create a mayhem in a park where animals are. It's going to destroy the fauna, the flora of the country. It's going to drive many villagers out of their village, as if they even care about villages. The European Union trying to vote a law to cancel a project in Uganda that has absolutely nothing to do with them. And your Ugandan president, very strong person, continued this project. He said, you know what? Even if you refuse this project, we're going to continue this project on ourselves. So now this guy comes forward with an idea that's clearly not just his idea, because there are plenty of them thinking this way. You've just discovered this one. And how did they catch him? Because he tweeted and said things in the past. You know, some people say things, they don't understand that those things can catch up with them in time. Now he's ashamed to say, you know what? I'm going to resign because I want to keep a good reputation for my country and my government. I'm sure they advised him to do that. So it can look like some of the government people are actually against what he said. But in reality, could well be everybody thinks the same. You don't know. How can you tell? This is just one person you've caught. You don't know about everybody else. How are they feeling about people? I've learned something in life, my friends. If you want to know somebody, you must look at the past. Look at what they've done in the past. If you want to have a good idea about what they're going to do in the future, look at what they have done in the past. It's going to tell you very honestly what they may be doing in the future. In the past, we've seen them say, you know what, we're going to cut aid from Africa. We don't want to do this anymore because they are supporting Russia. That's just the reason they provide. In fact, we're going to give the aid to Ukraine. So if it was about cutting out people that are supporting Russia, they did not have to necessarily send the money to Ukraine. The idea is we're supporting these people because they have the same mentality as us. These ones, we don't like them. It's as simple as that. And now this guy coming forward saying, well, African women need to abort. This concept is called Malthusianism, where they say there are too many human beings in the world. Food resources are not enough. Malthusianism is the idea that the population growth is potentially exponential while the growth of food supply and other resources are not, which eventually reduce living standard to the point triggering a population to die off. This event is called Malthusian catastrophe. Some people think out there that there are way too many people for the resources, so there aren't enough food to feed people. Since there are too many people, we're going to get to a point where there are going to be too many people and less food, and that's going to create mayhem and violence and stuff. Yeah, these people think that, mostly eugenic people. Before it was too flagrant because they sounded very racist. So they left eugenics, they became Malthusians, because Malthusians is more justifiable. You can say, okay, there are way too many people for the food that we have, because there's too little food and too many people are going to start doing this to each other for the food, which is absolutely absurd, because even if there could be many people, among those many people, there could be many people that are equipped enough to create more production ground. They have intelligence to create more food for more people. They don't talk about that. All they talk about is the too many people and too little food, and eventually we're going to do this for each other. Absolutely wrong. Let me know how you feel about this. Is this an isolated case, or is this just a tip of the iceberg? Do you think many people think this way in some of these countries? They think that actually we should be given abortion pills. Do you remember President Macron made the same comment a few years back, saying there are way too many kids per woman in Africa? You remember that? Do you remember some of these people that bring us this stuff to protect us from disease? You know what we're talking about. They think there are way too many people in Africa. We can bring them down with some techniques. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. Join our community. Do this, please. Subscribe if it's not done yet. It's always a pleasure. God bless.